I hope you've been well. We're going to get right into this. It feels so odd without casting. Notch, fix your stuff so we can cast again. In blue, we are going to have Apple Picker on Rampage, Ian on Richter Shoe. I know I'm not pronouncing that right, on Muriel. H1 to you, or hi to you, on Iggy. And then you fell over there. And we have Feng Mao, that is actually Shurik, even though that is some Russian alphabetical lettering. That is Shurik. He's a very common name inside of the competitive community. Steel, a hero we haven't seen in quite some time. He's seen a lot of changes, but we'll spare that for some other time. Being picked up here by Oracle. Ninja on the Gideon. Twin Blast being picked up by I'm 2V. And Fatal, another common name in the competitive scene. The jungler known as Sevarog. Obviously, the jungle has had a lot of significant changes, and I think that's really the biggest thing I'm looking forward to. There's two things I think a lot of people are looking at how the newer teams are going to adapt to with the new layout of the map. That is specifically the Orb Prime, not only with it being a little bit more difficult to take, but primarily the surrounding terrain there leads a lot of counter push potential inside of the, or not counter push, but counter attack, counter initiation potential. It's much more riskier than it was before to pick up that Orb Prime. But of course, the jungle, the green buff has been moved to the center. And I think the biggest implication of that is more so that if teams look to invade the jungle, they can't just poke their head around the corner anymore and see the green buff. It takes a little bit more of a positional commitment to go inside the jungle and actually look to pick off that green buff. So if we do see jungle invasions, they'll probably be a little bit more committal, and we'll not just see little one-man invasions, especially if it's on a hero that isn't the most mobile hero, specifically Richter. Obviously, Richter, a big hero that we've seen come up with the 4-2 patch. He was sort of an unknown inside of Monolith for a long time, but now that he's just overall stronger, to put it lightly, but more so players are playing him more, and it's all about landing those hooks. So obviously that's going to be a big one to keep your eyes on here. Steel, another hero we haven't seen much of at all since his nerf shortly after Monolith came out. But now with his, he no longer has the Bull Rush, now has the Shield Bonk, and I think that's what we're going to be calling him. I'm pretty sure it's the official name, the Shield Bonk. He's actually been a pretty top pick hero inside of the competitive community in the top ranks of the MMR, mostly as a support, as we see Oracle running him here. And I expect to see the Shield Slam ultimate being a key initiation tool out of Steel. But they have plenty of initiation between. That's definitely a strong side of the Orange team here. There's a lot of hard initiation and a double front tank line with Oracle on the Steel, as aforementioned, but more specifically Fatal Barrage on the Sevarog. So they got a big tanky front line, and then, of course, Feng Mao in the off lane. He's not as tanky as those other two heroes, but really look for him to be pushing a lot. He has great wave clear once he hits his mid-game damage cards, but his burst damage with the Reaper's Dash and the Earth Shatter is significant, can take down carries very, very quickly. To counteract that damage, though, I think this Muriel Muriel support pick is going to be very, very good at dealing with the burst damage that's coming out of the Feng Mao. Because once Feng Mao uses that Reaper Dash, once he uses that Earth Shatter, after that he has some auto attacks and then has to pretty much reset his cooldowns. Is very reliant on those abilities. It's something Muriel is very good at. Ian was not suspecting the purple buff Shadow, the two-man subjugate. Boulder's there to peer Oracle off for as long as he can, but I think Ian's just trying to do what he can before it gets taken out. And that's going to be your first blood set up and settled by the purple buff. Ian looking for the rotate, not taking into account those jungle buffs. And they get themselves first blood. A little bit of counter pressure going down here on the other side of the field. Shurik on the Feng Mao trying to do what he can. But obviously, as an offlaner, you always just want to make sure you're picking up levels, doing harassment. But the number one key of being an offlaner is just not giving up needless deaths to yourself. And obviously, again, Feng, you look at his kit. That's something he does very, very well here. Notch, how are you doing, brother? He doesn't have his headphones on. Okay, that's okay. It's the solo cast right now, my boys. That's okay. Iggy and Scorch in the mid lane, which is very interesting. I think a lot of people probably raised an eyebrow when they saw high TU on Iggy and Scorch, specifically because he had his rework. A lot of people thought he was a little bit of an overtuned. He has now been changed, and the opinion of Iggy is that maybe he's not as strong as other mid laners. Obviously, there's still Gadget is in the mix. But him as a mid laner, I want to talk about this is his playstyle as a mid laner is much different than other contemporary mid laners, like Gideon, like Gadget. He's not really about burst damage and strong initiation. It's about zone control. It's about objective control. So I think one thing to keep an eye out here for the blue team specifically is how they utilize the strengths of this Iggy to open up early game objectives, specifically the Raptors, the Orb Prime, his ability to defend towers, his ability to push towers. He's not someone that goes and wins a team fight single-handedly. Iggy's a tool you use to set up positional territorial pressure against your opponent. And that's really not a strategy that we've seen teams put a lot of energy into very recently, just because there hasn't been heroes designs that have really allowed that. So I wonder if this is something they've practiced. Gonna have to see as the game develops a little bit further. Starting cards, have a little bit. Oh, the tab screen. Look at that beautiful, beautiful tab screen. A new functionality that was introduced somewhat recently, of course, is the gold spread, as well as in the bottom respective corners there is in your screen. You see the gold is pretty close, pretty much 25k to 25k. But standard stuff thus far, Call of the Week, assisting with lasting, Shadow Wards, standard stuff thus far. We'll keep an eye on it as the mid-game starts to develop a little bit more and the cores start to get their farm. Laning phase, pretty much quiet. It's been a couple minutes since we saw that first blood on Ian, which was set up by a jungle buff. In about 50 seconds here, we're going to see another jungle buff spawn. Depending on what those are, we may see another bout on the map here. But as of right now, it seems like the teams are just playing fairly passive, trying to just secure levels on their core. Shurk has been doing a good job on the Feng Mao thus far, just ensuring levels, falling back to his weak side jungle camp when the lane is pushed out. And he has no vision in that area as well, so he's playing smart, not playing over aggressive, recognizing he doesn't have much vision, so he's not playing up ahead, and also recognizing that Richter hasn't shown on the map in quite some time as well. As we start to speak about that, he actually starts to move in and is trying to scout down inside of the jungle here. That ward that he's walking right over, he is not aware of, that is going to feign Iggy into the jungle as well. But 7 minutes, Ian, already in position to pick up that ward on the west side of the map, and Fatal on the other side. It is going to be a purple buff with Ian on the Richter, able to secure. See if he's able to do anything with it as of right now. Maybe just try to find some wards. Is going to pick up on one. Fatal, he was able to pick up the red. That's not the biggest employer of ganks by any means, but it's the green buff that's going to be the big one, enabling him to dive under that tower. Forces out Apple Picker to back, so they were looking for potentially a kill, but more importantly, they pick up the first tower of the map, off-lane tower, falling in about 7.5 minutes. Big question, what are they now going to do? Are they going to continue to push down this tier 2 with their ranged carry as well as their support, or are they going to do a lane swap here? The last PCL...
question,
oh, Notch!
Is my voice working? Is it
Oh
better?
my god, you sound so good. Can I take a breath now?
You can take a breath, guys.
Okay.
Chat will let me know. Pith will also let me know as well. So like you said, 7 minutes. At 6:45, that armor falls off, so they're able to push that tower down. We are seeing a little bit of aggression over here in the off lane with Shurik and Ninja rotating to try and deal with Shu here. Gideon, Shane, Gideon is a monster right now. That Cosmic Rift, that Space Turd, that Death from Above hits really strong. Shuriken's trouble. The hook is going to land. Is he going to be able to get away?
Oh!
He doesn't have the mana for Conversion Shield. He does get help from Ninja, and he escapes. Ha! It feels good to be back, buddy. It feels good to be back.
I think I hyperventilated at some point. I'm feeling a little dizzy. I'm feeling a little dizzy, a little nauseous. So, well, let me get you up to date here, Joshua.
Okay.
The off lane tower on the right side of the map just fell, and immediately around the we just saw, there's a fight there. I don't know if you saw it or not. There's Shurk almost died. Okay, just making sure you're watching, making sure you're paying attention here. And the question I laid onto the field was, with all the changes that we've seen, and with this game being very different than the last time we've had a PCL, is there going to be a lane swap, or are they going to continue down to push down a tier 2 tower? There's been a lot of talk about towers right now, how the towers themselves in terms of damage and health wasn't changed, but the size of them increased with the new update of the map, making them much easier to hit. And just that change alone, that subtle change, we actually see teams start to favor early tier 2 tower pushes.
Yeah, so one of the other things is on top of the tower change, making them a little bit easier to hit, Shane, is gold drip. There is a little... Are they going to get aggressive here? No, they're just scouting it out. The gold drip with the removal of the ultimate in the mid here onto Ninja. Ninja's got to be very careful. Ninja is just going to die. He was skewered, he was hooked, he was stunned. He was dead, is what just happened. Rotation coming over. I don't know.
Oh, the subjugate into the shield slam. The follow-up is there. The Iggy's trying to lay down as much damage as he can. They've taken out the Gideon already, so he's not here to do much help. Ian is able to land a hook with not much mana, not much less gas in the tank. They're not going to be able to get some follow-up. So the Wombo was there. The two-man subjugate into the two-man shield slam, but somehow, some way, they don't give up a single casualty there and are able to bounce back.
So Fatal Barrage, he was on his way out, ended up walking back into one of the Iggy turrets and dying to an Iggy turret there.
That's the worst.
That's the worst feeling. I got away. No, you didn't. You're burning to death. There's a slight burning sensation, and it will kill you if you do not get that checked out by a doctor. I
know a guy.
They've changed the gold drip with the removal of the Amber Link in the game. And so we were seeing lane swaps before because the safe lane, they would want to rotate over if they didn't have the Raptors. Rotate over so they could pick up the Raptors when they spawned. What I've seen from a lot of the scrims and talking to players is that the gold drip is really high. And the amount of time it takes people to invest in Raptors to pick them up isn't really worth it when you can just push down towers.
Right.
And stay in that lane. So I don't think we're going to see a lane swap. I think we're going to see Shurek hang out over here in the off lane, continue to farm up. Maybe about the 15-16 minute mark, we'll see one of the junglers pick up the Raptors, and those just feed to the junglers. Because once the junglers have Growth Totem online, utilizing Flame of Zetchin, and a lot of junglers are running, I've seen Green Spring when they're out of combat.
Yep.
They get that health regen. So they're able to pick those up relatively easily about the 15 to 16 minute mark in the game.
Apple Picker, even with his tier 1 tower down in the off lane and not much vision on the field, he's still continuing to have aggressive positioning. That really shows that his ultimate's online mid lane. Fatal uses the Colossal Blow, knocks Iggy into a corner with the Subjugate. But again, fighting into an Iggy with those turrets down is always a dangerous proposition. We heard a Shield Slam. Actually, Apple was able to pick up a solo kill onto Twin Blast here underneath the tier 1 tower. The damage continues with the Reversal of Fortune aggressively used, which is what you like to see out of that Muriel. Oracle's trying to spin himself around in circles. Apple has got to start getting away from that tower, getting very, very low. He's going to feign the aggro. Bonk is there. Ian coming in, gets the pulls. Kill secured. 2 go down, and now a tier 1 tower.
Azura Rage playing really well. I love the aggression coming out of these guys right now. Good utilization of that Reversal of Fortune. Appy, because he is a tankier hero, he has his Possessed Spriken online, so he's got that regen. Plus, he's got Green Spring once he gets out of combat, a little bit more regen. But the armor coming off of that green screen, basic armor early, allows him to sit under that tower and tank those shots. Ian with the hook onto Fatal Barrage. Appy is most likely going to fall here. There he goes.
He jumped, he thought he was going to get away from Twin Blast, and he just landed right in front of Fatal, and so you know what the 5 fingers say to the face.
Take this Soul Siphon, he said. Here's my soul. Stack it up, brother. So Sevarog, Shane, we saw a change with Sevarog. Sevarog has kind of fallen off when they made some of those jungle changes.
Yep.
They quality of life change coming for Sevarog. They changed the way his stacks work. He gets them at 10, 20, 50, I believe.
Come on, did you read the patch notes or not, Josh?
You know how long ago those patch notes came out? It's been a couple weeks, Shane. I'm gonna need you to settle down there, mister.
All right, I'm sorry.
But they have changed the way his stacks work. He now gets stacks much faster, which allows him to farm the jungle a little bit more effectively. I think Sevarog is still a really solid hero, even though we did see him fall off. I'm looking at this lineup, though, and I see Azura's Rage with Rampage in the offlane and not in the jungle. And for me, Rampage is the king of the jungle right now. He farms super effectively. Once he gets at level 5 with that boulder and ultimate, he's just a powerhouse. So it's weird seeing him in the offlane and not in the jungle. Raptors being taken at about the 14-minute mark here. They're actually going to be giving them to Drongo. I was expecting them to give them to Ian. Like, actually, Ian just take them for himself. But Drongo's going to pick those up, give himself that gold advantage. Right now, we are starting to see a little bit better farming for Hoist the Colors. 65,000 gold opposed to the 52.
Love that new gold. We can see the total gold between teams. So good.
Love it as well. On the side of Azura Rage, even, I mean, 3-2, 3-2-6 KDA for Azura and 3-4-5 for Hoist the Colors. So they're pretty even, other than the gold farm right now. It's going to be interesting to see. I know for me personally, how many growth totems we see in the game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Currently 6 growth totems out right now.
And I won't be surprised if that number continues to rise.
Yeah, one of the strongest cards in the game right now. it's free about the 9-minute mark, or cost you about 500 golds. Plus, you get that power and just continues to stack health as the game progresses. So we should see a couple people around the 3,000 plus health mark.
Oracle was just trying to check the river buff prior to the 15-minute mark. Actually, is barely uses the shield slam. Is forced to use a shield slam to get away, but no, it's that extra damage coming out from Drongo from his rounds, and he is able to secure the kill.
That was a good usage of his ultimate there. So Drongo has rad rounds. We haven't seen much Drongo. When you land basic attacks with, you activate rad rounds. It applies a dot, and depending on what level that's at, you can stack up to 3 or 4 times. He also used his ultimate, shrapnel cannon, because that shreds armor. So he used the shrapnel cannon. That armor shred was there, and then those rad rounds explode and made sure that kill was secured. So really good usage of that ultimate, able to secure that kill for him here, and he's going to rotate back to the lane and start picking up some sweet amber with this big minion wave over here.
Gold.
It's amber forever.
Another thing about rad rounds, secondarily, is that it's actually also a really good tool at peeling off the ablative armor of steel, since it's damage over time. Because it's ability damage. It's been a long time since we've seen Drongo. Could be wrong about that. We'll fact check that. I'll get my fact checker on it. Hey,
fact checker.
Yeah. So does rad? Okay, he's looking it up right now.
Antoinette. He got fired by Dr. Disrespect. We picked him up. Shurik's in some trouble here. He's gonna get out of the jungle. He had Ian on his butt. That's not a target you want behind you, by the way. The one with the hook. The one where you think you're going to go away, and it's like, oh, I guess not. He's going to
just don't walk in a straight line. That's all.
I mean, there's only so much zigzagging you can do before you get hooked. Eventually, it's going to land.
I don't know, man. I think if you just don't walk in a straight line, it's probably increases your probability. I don't know. Richter, those hooks, man. It's Richter's always been a very zero-sum hero in the sense where if you're landing those hooks, you can just single-handedly win a team fight. But if you're not landing those hooks off, you're pretty much just standing there, really not doing much. He is receiving some, I believe, according to the community corner, he's receiving a little bit of love, but that's yet to come. Apple Picker forced to use the ultimate, has missed the boulder as well. So there's a little bit of engagement just outside of the Orb Prime here. Josh, lay it on me. The new Orb Prime pit, the new Orb Prime itself. How do you expect the changes to it to change the pace of a game, specifically in the context of the Orb Prime?
It's a team objective now. With the changes to the way the abilities the Orb Prime has now, he's got that pretty sweet rocket launcher-esque mode that hits everybody. It's more difficult to solo than it has ever been, which I think is fantastic. Fatal Barrage in a lot of trouble here. Skewer is down. There is that ultimate onto 3 from Oracle. Fatal Barrage is going to fall. Are they going to continue the aggression here, or are they going to want to back off? It looks like they're trying to back off right now. Ultimate goes down for Iggy.
Ooh, they got to be careful here. It's just Shurk. He gets stunned up. Does he have the Reaper dash up to the high ground? Do they have the CC? They don't. So he's able to get up the high ground. The pursuit continuing. Ian maybe looking for a hook. Not going to be there, using the cosmic or the torn space, and is going to be able to get away. The torn space utilization so far, I think, has saved Shurk twice now this game. That's something about Gideon. Gideon was one of the original 13 heroes, and that's something about the hero that we really haven't seen strong utilization of. Very much of at all, except back on Legacy when you could use it to 5-man invade the red buff at first minute and jump up to the high ground. Anyways, I digress. The torn space utilization already is players and teams more so are starting to get better at utilizing that, allowing it to save people, allowing it to be used as engagement, able to retreat, so on and so forth. So that's one specific thing about the new map layout, with more utilization of verticality, that Gideon is going to be able to get more value out of.
We're also seeing, when we look back at previous Agora's Risings and Paragon Competitive Leagues, Gideon was one of those heroes that he wasn't always picked up. It was we're picking up Bellico, or they're picking up Gadget or Howitzer. And with the strength right now of Gideon's Burden, plus his Cosmic Rift, we're gonna start to see more teams utilize that hero. And then, of course, which in return, more torn space utilization, which is such a great escape for your team. I don't know why more people don't use it. Are they going for Orb Prime right now? I think they were just de-warding.
Something I mentioned, hold that
Fatal
thought,
Barrage
Oracle.
just took a ton of damage from Orb Prime. I don't know if you saw that or not, Shane.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble forcing out the Muriel ultimate. They're continuing to engage because he's very, very low. Ian does get taken out. Can they pick off Fatal as well? No, he is able to get away, glide himself to safety. All the meanwhile, the Black Hole is keeping Apple Picker in place. He's not able to get away. The regen isn't enough, as well as that snare coming out from Ninja. The boulder dropping as well. That's 3 go down. Beautifully done right there. Fatal was narrowly able to get away. He tanked so much damage. The Reversal of Fortune was forced out very early, very defensively. But I think more importantly, it was that Iggy was not set up and contributed almost nothing to that engagement.
Yeah, Iggy unfortunately had to rotate back in. So the start of that match, Fatal Barrage went in there. They were, I believe they were just dewarding, and it didn't look like they were taking Orb Prime.
No,
Fatal Barrage went in. Everybody got out of the Orb Prime pit, and Fatal Barrage ended up taking the full brunt of the Orb Prime's rocket ability. He got hit by like 7 or 8 of them, and took a ton of damage, but great rotation from his team, able to pick up 4 kills. No, I'm sorry, 3. Ian, Shu, and Apple Picker all got picked up there. They had to back up. It would have been nice to see them go for the Orb Prime, but they were all very, very low. So, Shane, 84,000 gold to 64,000 gold.
Oh, we can do that. I love it.
Hoist the Colors has a 20 plus 21,000 gold advantage right now, or 19,000 gold advantage right now. When we look at that, so this is new for Paragon. We haven't had the chance to do this.
Yep.
We haven't had the chance to do this in the past. What are we looking at when we see those numbers here? Is this just purely, of course, it means more attributes, which means that team should have more of a lead, correct? They've seemed to have died more times, but they're having better rotations. They're farming effectively. They are in a really good spot right now when it comes to their team play. How do they lose this lead? How does Asura's Rage catch up? What needs to be done for Asura's Rage to catch up and try and pick away at that lead?
The biggest discrepancy here is between the 2 carries. Actually, it may be a display bug on my end because his gold's not moving. But according to my screen, Drongo is only at 9,000 gold. I actually don't... I believe that's a display bug. We'll have to figure that out. But but look at Gideon compared to Iggy. That may be a display bug as well. I don't know. It's only showing Iggy at 10k gold compared to Gideon's 22. It's hard for me to say because I think I have a whole bunch of display bugs. But overall, to answer your question, is more attributes means more power, means more cards, means your timings are earlier. And it's just finally, for the first time, we're able to objectively see a hard number. 2-man subjugate over onto what was at one point the safe lane duo. Fatal knocks him up there. The Black Hole used with a shield slam interrupts it very quickly. That's going to put Shu into a very awkward position, though, as he's trying to keep himself up and isn't able to do so. Had to put all the shields into himself, allowing them to immediately turn over onto Drongo and get the kill for themselves. A Reversal of Fortune to use. Muriel going into the fight, trying to do what he can. Shurik was looking for the damage, wasn't expecting that Reversal of Fortune, was fighting inside of Iggy turrets, and got burned alive, taken out. Apple Picker was chasing down Oracle as well, so he wasn't part of that fight, was able to pick up the kill, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. As they get the whole handful of them, all of them get taken out right there. A very scrappy fight, but even in scrappy fights like that, they're able to overcome and take that fight very handily.
Yeah, very handily. They took that fight. We've got 4 down on the side. Ninja is the only one up here. Appy Picker, is he starting the Orb Prime? No, he's set up in that position. I think we're going to see a rotation. And this is going to be bad for Hoist the Color Shade. This is going to allow time for Iggy to show up, places turrets, and if they try to stop this, they're going to be fighting into 3 or 4 Iggy turrets. It could be a major issue for Hoist the Colors. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get here in time to do that. So the gold right now, Shane, I fixed the bugs on my end. Asura's Rage now has the lead by about 1,000 gold. They're also going to have the Orb Prime here as well, and they've got a major advantage at this point. Expect them to set lanes, group up, and try and end this match right now.
So there it is. Orb Prime online. Tier 2 tower about to fall to the creep. Fatal's there trying to do what he can. Tower is going to narrowly stay alive. But yeah, that lane being pushed out here is, and the utilization of the Muriel, I really like. They're putting her on their opposite side of the map using that global ult, which is going to be up here in about 40 seconds. Big strength of Iggy, man, is if they allow Iggy with the power of Orb Prime and they allow Iggy to set up a full battalion, if you will, of turrets outside. You can't engage into that. this is just they actually have a really good slow siege between the Iggy, once he gets his turrets up, that allows them to almost indefinitely keep their position outside of a turret if they so desire, and that just allows Ian to play fish in the barrel, throw hooks. Eventually he's going to land one. The moment he lands and isolates someone with that hook, Iggy can pop the ultimate if deemed necessary. But I actually really like this composition specifically for slow sieging and being patient, and that's what they're doing thus far. Mid inhibitor, first time we've seen this under siege. This is going to be a very, very tense moment for Hoist the Colors, and it's going to be very difficult for them. Deciding to be aggressive as Fatal goes forward, shield slam, use hits 3, actually knocks him away horizontally, but that's going to set up Ninja to use the black hole. Ian, quick on the hook, pulls him out of the sky and takes him out, destroys him. And that just a little eager on the black hole is going to result in what could be the mid inhibitor, but more importantly, they got to make sure they don't give up too many kills here. Sure, try to do what he can, trying to helicopter his way to safety. Narrowly able to get away. Are they going to continue to chase? They're not. The inhibitor is finally going to be taking some damage. It's going to be falling here. Muriel, all the meanwhile, just slowly pushing the opposite side of the map, and now the inhibitor on the left portion will be under siege here momentarily.
Shurik is in trouble. He's not going to be able to mount a defense here. This looks like it's going to be GG.
Yeah.
They turn around, land a boulder. Shurik does fall here. They're back up and coming in to save this engagement. No minions. They may be able to stop this. There's a good ultimate coming out of Fatal Barrage.
There's no creep. The backdoor protection is significant now. They're going to try to do what they can, but with Drago in the backline freely, that is going to be it. That is going to be GG on the side of Asura's Rage. Pretty impressive, Notch, but because Asura was not having the best early game at all. They were losing most of the engagements, what engagements they were. They gave up first blood, but they're able to, pretty much off the heels of that Orb Prime push, just push down mid lane, get a pick off onto the Gideon, and pretty much just crumbled from there.
Yeah, they lost some big engagements, but like you said, they turned it around. They had towards the end there, right before they took the Orb Prime, and they picked up that big team fight, knocking down 4 on the side of Hoist the Colors is really when that turned that. And then, of course, taking the Orb Prime. That's such a big objective right now.
Yeah.
It's more difficult to do, but it gives you such an advantage with how strong minions become. And like you said, you have Iggy, who can just set up turret upon turret upon turret, and you can't push into that. We saw Fatal Barrage try to push into that. He ended up taking a lot of damage from those turrets and getting picked up. The moment they got aggressive there under that inhibitor, it allowed Azura's Rage to just put the nail in the coffin and take that game. So congratulations to Azura Rage on that game number 1 right there. Guys, if you want to support the Paragon Competitive League and you want to support these teams, there is a coupon code you can use for the match arena. We've got a bunch of free coupon codes. I'm currently not seeing it on my end, but it is there. I promise. You'll see it here in just a minute. It'll pop up in the bottom corner on the screen. Shane,
what up?
Game 1 of the day.
Yep.
Azura's Rage played really, really well. Really excited to get back into some Paragon action. It's been a blast. We're going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to be jumping into a second game of the day. Thank you guys, as always, for supporting the Paragon Competitive League. Thank you guys, as always, for supporting Paragon Competitive Play. We'll see you guys in just a minute.